Hey folks, Brendan here from Bluelight, and if you have a exercise ahead of you as part of a police recruitment process, in particular for the Special Constabulary, and it's a written exercise, then this is a model that's going to be able to help you. I know it's one you've seen before because we've used it for role plays, we've used it for confronting HR issues, we've used it for integrity issues, we've used it for so many different ways, but it's a model that just works over and over again, and it's called CUDSAR, and there it is on the board. So I'm going to talk you through how you'd utilize CUDSAR for a written report. So pin your ears back, folks. And by the way, this was in response to a question that was posed in the police recruitment Facebook group. That's almost 16,000 members, and they're all there to help each other, support each other. You can find a link below. A lot of them are serving officers now. And if you are a serving officer, then there's another group for you. Click on the link below. That group is for serving police officers only, to support them in their development. So how we're going to utilize CUDSAR for a written exercise. So CUDSAR, again, just to refresh your memory, stands for how you're going to confront the issue, how you're going to understand it, how you're going to define and summarize it, how you're going to seek solutions, and then you're going to assess and monitor your progress, and then you're going to work towards a specific desired result. So the written exercise, I don't know what it's going to be, but it doesn't matter because we just apply this model to the problem. It's going to be something where they're going to give you some kind of conundrum. It could be a community policing conundrum. They could use a good old Westshire shopping centre type exercise. No matter what it is, disagreement between two neighbours, it doesn't matter. You're just going to write a report about the information that you have in front of you. So one of the key things that you need to do first of all is go through the information in front of you and pick out salient points. So this will be things like times, locations, who was involved, what did they do, what did they say, how did it impact on other people. Because you're going to write a report which has all of that kind of information in it. And CUDSAR is like a checklist really to make sure that you don't miss anything out. So the first part of the report, once you've read through it and you've got a feel for what's actually happened, is you're going to start the report. And this is a bit that so many people struggle with. How am I going to start the report? Start it like this. The purpose of this report is to provide a briefing on whatever the issue is. Explain how this may have breached certain policies, rules or regulations, which is the define and summarise part, and provide some recommendations as to possible solutions that would work to alleviate this problem, address this problem. How's that sound? Would that work? So there's your opening line. You can adjust it however you want. I mean, it's your written exercise, but I'd just start with that because it explains basically what you're doing in the written exercise is starting off with a paragraph to say, this is what I'm going to do. And so then we're going to do it. So the next part is the understanding phase. So we're going to use our 5WH as a problem-solving tool. And we're going to apply our 5WH, which stands for the 5WH questions. All came from Rudyard Kipling and a story he told about how the elephant got its trunk. I know, bizarre, but if you look at that story, oh my goodness, what's it called? If you look up Rudyard Kipling, 5WH, it'll bring it up. It's escaped me. It'll come back later. It'll probably come back at the end of this video. But it explains how the elephant got its trunk, his and hers trunk. And at the very end of it, there's a delightful poem about questions that can be asked to seek information. So we're going to start off with our 5WH questions, but we're going to do simple to complex. So we're going to start off with at, time, at, place. So nice and simple. At this time, at this place. And then certain people did. So you're going to describe at time, at place, who was involved. What did they do? What happened? What did they say? What did other people say back to them? What happened next? Describe their behaviour. So then we're going to go into how this made people feel. So how did this make people feel? And then we are going to talk about what the possible causes might be. So why did this happen, or the possible causes? What are the possible causes? And then we're going to stop there. Actually, we can put a few more in there, like what sort of impact has this had on the community? What sort of impact has this had on those individuals concerned? if this problem isn't addressed, what further impact could it have on community, organisation, individuals? That should be enough in terms of your explaining what has happened. But use a timeline. Don't bounce around from the end to the beginning, from the beginning to the end. Use a nice timeline. So now we're going to define and summarise. And what we're going to do in our report is we're just going to highlight how this behaviour is a breach of, or could be addressed by, or there is a policy on. And they'll give you that information in the briefing pack. So you'll have that information anyway to refer to. Make sure that whatever policies, information they give you, you refer to it, even if it is to say that it doesn't breach whatever it might be, or it doesn't seem to fit the policy on. Oh, and by the way, whilst you're doing your understanding phase, if there's any information that you feel there was missing, mention that as well, because that's pertinent. So I'd mentioned that in the define and summarise stage to say that certain information isn't available. I'd intend to get this information before making a final recommendation. So now we're going to move into our solutions, and this is where we can talk about any enforcement that's required, any activities to prevent the issue that's being addressed ever occurring again. And then the A stands for advocacy. What are you going to do to be an advocate for the people in that community, the people in that organisation, the individuals concerned? So this is how you're going to help support them and enable them to feel happy about the end result. And this could require some compromise as well. So you might need to come to a negotiated solution between parties. That could be one of the solutions. Now, of course, if you're going to implement solutions, you need to be able to assess and monitor progress. So what I'd do there is I'd write about it as my intention to meet with all parties involved on a weekly basis to give them updates on what we're doing to address issue X and Y, and also to seek feedback from them as to how they feel we are dealing with this matter on their behalf. That sounds like I've used that phrase so many times, doesn't it? It's because I have. Remember, I was a serving police officer for 28 years in 3 different forces, an attachment to the Home Office. And for the 7 years since I retired, I've been working for European Union, different councils, different police forces as a consultant, and doing all sorts of other cool stuff. So I've been involved in this sector for over 35 years. So phrases like that just roll off the tongue. And of course, you want to achieve a desired result. So describe what the desired result is. This is making sure that before you do anything, you've got a result in mind. So there you go, folks. That's how to put together a written report. There's all sorts of other different ways you could do it, but honestly, for all the assessment centres that the College of Policing has run previously that have involved written reports, this model is the one I've advocated, and it's nailed it for thousands of people. So why try something else when this works? If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. So I hope this has been useful for you folks. If you want to find out more about the Bluelight community, either as serving officers or as people who are preparing to be serving officers, then again, check the links below. That's where I will highlight to you the different Bluelight groups, Facebook groups you can join. If you are a serving regular police officer, please do make sure that you try and persuade me that you are. I know you'll be able to think of something that only police know, and otherwise I won't be able to let you into the group. All right, folks. Catch up with you next time. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.